Good morning, Royal Family, and welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. I am your host, Down the Crypto TA. Seems like 4 o'clock isn't early enough for me to get up to try to get the stream together. As I was still trying to, work out a few kinks there. That's why I have us on the Ethereum chart for starters. This may have been a short position here already when we hit the golden pocket. I'm kind of trying to see like what the 1 hour is doing here. If it's going to give a little bit more, come back up here one more time for this because I am interested in taking a bit of a short position. But so far, I do believe that this may have been it. I wanted to kick the show off, with some sort of a position open with you guys outside of the long position from yesterday. So everything yesterday really held up. I did have on, and I'm going to show you here. I got a couple of indicators on right now. So let me just turn this one off for starters. And yeah, I think that'll do. All right. So what we were looking at yesterday, as I was saying to you, you come up here, you're looking for price to come back down and to hold here. So I left this to a 4 hour perspective for you. So this is what we were looking at, 4 hour perspective. Um, we did get pretty extended in here on this push up. I really wanted us to break above here, then come back down, and then that would, that would be the short for me. Um, hopefully that'll still be the case. Hopefully that'll still be the case, and this could be a short position that you're able to take here. I don't want you to do like a limit order because I would rather price breakthrough and fail on the attempt. So some sort of a SFP here would be good for Ethereum to take a short, and I will only be looking for it at the moment to come back down here and hold the support around the 20 SMA for the 4 hour time frame. So that's Ethereum. No push down here into the golden pocket 786. That hasn't happened yet. But in the event that something like that does happen, what I am going to be watching for Ethereum is going to be, and let me put this over here. See on the weekly time frame here. I'll be looking for somewhere. Yeah, just around the golden pocket. I think that that's going to be it. Just around the golden pocket. Yeah, 28.887, somewhere right in here, just below here. If we get that, then we'll have to look for the long position from that point. You may not be too late to want to take a short from here. I just think that, your risk to reward is not going to be as great, especially since I'm only looking at price action coming back to the 20 SMA for starters. It may give more. Like I said, it may give more, may want to drop down here towards this golden pocket. But at this moment, I'm going to see how this holds up. So I'm really adamant about this being able to hold up and then price getting another push back up. So that's the reason for that. Bitcoin not performing as well. It was still pretty much where we were yesterday. So where we were yesterday, and I modified this a little bit. The only thing I changed was actually where the stop was going to be, and I put it according to this right here. But this is the same thing from yesterday, where we I said I wouldn't take this as a limit order, just let it prove to itself. But after it came back up and it got the back testing here again, that was the entry for me because it back tested it there and then it back tested it there. And then we kept holding on. So it was the same thing as Ethereum looking for it to hold here. Now, this did drop down a lot lower than Ethereum did. And I just really knew it was going to take this pivot right here out. It didn't. And it's still not pushing up as much as Ethereum. You can see Ethereum was all the way up here towards the standard deviation too. Whereas Bitcoin is still struggling here around, I want to say the 20 SMA as opposed to this. I haven't updated the previous day high and previous day low just yet for this chart. And I need to do that because that's exactly where we stopped out yesterday as I was ending the stream. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Have the indicators for a second here so I can get this done. And the previous day low, and then let me get this up here to the previous day high. Yep, that's the only change I really need to make there. Yeah. All right. Back on the 15. And we're all good. So turn that back on. Bitcoin, um, just in its current state, like this would be an amazing short, especially seeing that the RSI is at a 67 already. So let's just say that Bitcoin breaks through. Where it's stopping out right now is going to be the golden pocket. If this pushes up to the golden pocket, then the RSI is going to be rather extended. So it's going to, people are going to be euphoric. That's where you're really going to want to take the short at. I want to be careful about how I say that because I'm always talking about, hey, let's not focus too much on oversold and overbought. I've learned to hate the lingo oversold and overbought, but euphoric, and fear. And that's what I'm going to go with from now on. So that's what we'd be at. We'd be very euphoric if we get through here. And again, that would be the golden pocket. Pull it from the high to this low here. That would just be the golden pocket or 618. If it goes up higher than that, that doesn't seem almost possible. Only if it consolidates a little bit will it be able to reach those heights in here. But this is where we would start to look for a short at. And I do still have this one in here. And I did modify this one in terms of where I thought price action would probably come back into. And I'm trying to narrow that into about $86,050, something like that. And this reads 86.59, as you can see over here with the gray. So that's what I'd be looking for here for Bitcoin if we could get the move to the downside. I'll be looking for that. Initially, I had it at like 10% off of this low right here. But now I'm seeing that I'd really like to get it into here. We have to see how that goes. It may not, may have to push it back up here somewhere around where we have this 86,450 at, somewhere closer to that, but still underneath it. And just give this a sec here to see what we're gonna do. Solana, I haven't really. In fact, I got you here, so you can just watch me do this one too, and you can see. I'm not that. I have my indicators. Our previous day low there, and then our previous day high all the way up here. Twisting. All right. And Solana, is not performing as well as Ethereum or Bitcoin. Also, just getting above the 20 SMA in here. It's about all we've done here. This indicator right here is available. It's nothing fancy. I can tell you right now, it's nothing fancy. It's just a Bollinger Band. But what I've done is I've just made it a multi-time frame Bollinger Band. It's here on TradingView for free because it's just a Bollinger Band. And then I just, I'm a big Bollinger Band trader. So then I moved down to a different time frame, a lower time frame. I found a higher time frame that actually works for price action, and then I dropped to a lower time frame and used it on that. That's basically all I'm doing here. So it's available. Got a couple of other ones I need to publish that you can just access. That could be helpful in your trading journey. Let's jump back over here on this. Let me push out a little bit, just kind of see what we got going on these other time frames in here. Nothing really. There is something that I was looking at in here because I've heard people talk about this, like where we're not getting above, and there's a reason for that. For me, at least, there's a reason for that. So if we look here on our weekly time frame, I'm gonna turn. I want to turn these drawings off. maybe, maybe not. Okay, so right here you can see. So this is our impulsive. I'm going to just say impulsive move here to the downside, possibly ABC correction, something like that, right? Well, as a Bollinger Band trader, you have to you want to see the exhaustion of the expansion to the downside, exhaustion of the impulsive move to the downside, which is what we're starting to get. But where we need to come back up above, as I use those Bollingers as support and resistance, is going to be the 91 to 21. So 90,000 has been a big talk, but you'll see when I turn this on that we've been nowhere near, like we had such a large gap from this move to the downside. We're just waiting on this consolidation from this range right here. So we've been consolidating in this range. So we know we're going to get an explosive move. That's what happens when you start to coil. So we have this mother bar here and these inside bars. So she's going to give birth to all of these babies. and that, and that's going to be a powerful birth, right? So then we start to look for our move to the upside, which is what I'm banking on, is that this is actually going to be a move back to the upside. If I'm talking about an ABC, right? So A and then B and then C for our final move to the downside here. Hopefully at least. I'm going to turn off my drawings. And then we're just going to look at the Bollinger. So you can see how we're in between standard deviation 1 and 2. So the idea is to be able to come back above standard deviation 1. We're nowhere near that just yet. We're still coiling, waiting to get that move that's going to expand us back up here, back above here, probably push us into the to the 20 SMA. Then maybe we'll back test this, but we're still not, this hasn't curved out just yet. And it may not even curve out until we get to push up, but it's going to be just like this, how we're here and we're looking to get above here, treating them like, moving averages, right? We're looking to get above here. Now, my thought again is that it will be some sort of an explosive move, which means it could decide it wants to push above that and just push straight into here, which I'm highly doubting that. Right now, I'm looking at the 382 and 50% retracement, because that's basically what we did the last time. We did a 382 retracement, and that was it. We didn't even manage to make it back to the 50. So that's just all I'm waiting for right now. And that's what you see when you see that, those lines: red, orange, blue, green. That's what I'm looking at. And to eliminate the noise, I just, I turn the Bollinger off. I map it and I turn the Bollingers off. So that's what we're looking at. It happens every single time. You get down below it. If you're trading down below it, just like over here, you want to see price action move above it. You want to see price action come back and hold it, which is just what we've done on the lower time frame, on the 15-minute with Bitcoin, with Solana, with Ethereum at this time, using the 4-hour time frame. But this is just using the actual weekly time frame over here. Can it fail? Absolutely. You can come up to the 20 SMA and get rejected. And that's what happened there. It came back down, but then it came back up, got back above here, and then you want to see it get trapped in between here, the same way it's trapped in between here at the moment. So that's what we're waiting for. And it looks like we're trying to get that curve, that, that final phase of consolidation here to get that push up above $91,306.10 at the moment. That's what I got for a read for the weekly time frame. All right. So that is that. That is that. And then here you can see, like I'm saying, I'm looking for 382, possibly even 50% retracement. And we can look to this candle wick here and this candle wick here at the 50. So one of these two, the same way we did over here when we got this move. and that was just a 382. So then I moved down. I'm looking just here at the golden pocket. I'm saying no, we may not do anything like this time. And I'm starting to hear a lot of people start to say it now, um, which makes me a little bit weary because so many other people are starting to say it now. So many other people are starting to say this too now. They may be doing it a little bit different than me with the 382 50% retracement, but and great minds can think alike, but too many people are starting to say it now, and I don't like to. I don't like for what I say to start lining up with what other people are saying for some reason. I don't know. It just seems like when everybody's waiting on something, it doesn't happen, right? So that's my issue. All right. Um. Okay. So back over here. And again, this would be golden pocket right here. This front runs the golden pocket by a few dollars. By a few dollars. I was looking at Zcash again yesterday too. Let me just jump on this chart really quickly here because I did go in and map it last night when I was looking at it. So we already broke down below this point here, and I think I pulled this from a daily. Yeah, I pulled it from a daily, which I have not updated it since yesterday before we got the daily close. It's just I left it exactly as it was from where we got the daily close. I think this is on the daily. Let's see. Yeah, this is on the daily. So you can see how it has changed a little bit in here. Um, why was I looking at it like, okay, all right. So there it is. It can stall. Let me just say that it can stall. So you can see why these are up here. I could always turn this on. I just like to take the noise off of the chart. So we're pretty euphoric here on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, it's pretty euphoric because we're above standard deviation 2, and we have been riding outside of that. We do have this sort of rising. I'm gonna say rising channel because all I did was I took this and copied it and pushed it up above this one here, and you can see how it rejected there. Maybe it wants to get to the golden pocket, but right now, I'm leaning towards getting the drop back down here into 495. That's what I'm leaning towards. But we have to break down below here first. But it is in a state of euphoria here on the daily. I know I'm looking at a 15-minute chart, but on the daily, it is very overextended within here. Honestly, I don't even know if we can make it here. If we do, it's going to be a great short. If we do, I think that it would be a great short. But the last time, this is exactly what Zcash did. It just kind of stayed up above here. And if I zoom out on an even higher time frame, we're still in euphoria. Like Zcash never came back in from that point. And I'm still holding my Zcash position from VWAP, which is it was a eagle eye entry. um, so I'm still holding that. Yeah, I don't know that it makes it up here to this golden pocket. I was really wanting to give it a chance to get there and then make a decision on whether or not I really wanted to take the short on it. Right now, yeah, we're just staying above here. Once we break through that, then you can look for this. And once we break through that, then you can look for this right here. And then you want to see that be the final. But let me show you here, Zcash. I'm just gonna take my drawings out of the equation, and let's just go to a much higher time frame. Let's just say the monthly. This is what we still look like. We're still at the top side of standard deviation. Guess what? 3. 3, not 2, because 2 is here. This is 2. You see, I got an extra red on. We're still at the top side of standard deviation. 3. Which is crazy. And at this point in here, like it was so far outside of, I don't even think I have one for it. I go as high as 4. And that's it for me. I can change these. You can see that that's 3 right here, which is why I'm saying I don't know if it gets up there to the golden pocket. This was what do you call it? I can't think of the word right now for some reason. Top blast or something. I can't think of the word right now. That was ridiculous. That was, I mean, this is at the start. When you first get a push out from a big squeeze like this right here, that's common. You don't want to mess with that. You want to wait for the second time you do it, and not the first time. The first time, avoid. You trade in Bollingers and you see it like this on the first move out, don't bother, because that's what happens, because it just expanded. So that's common. But this right here, we're still sitting at 3. If I turn on 4, you can see how we were far removed outside of 4. It's kind of like what I'm looking at on silver too. In fact, it's not kind of like what I'm looking at in silver. It's actually what I'm looking at on silver. But this is from the monthly time frame. The weekly may be a little bit easier on the eyes than this chart. But yeah, it may not make it past this time. The first time, sometimes that can be a coincidence. And then yeah, so that could have been the top, and then we're looking for it to come down. Now you still have to deal with the fact that none of this has turned in just yet, and it can fall, and then all of a sudden it turns in. But for something like this, it might do like 253. It might do something like that if it stays in this posture. It might do something like that. Let me turn that off. Let me turn that back. Let me turn this one off. But this is where we're at, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now we do it like this. It's a lot easier on the eyes, like I was saying. That's a lot easier on the eyes. So if I'm doing the standard 3, what a great short. It's a lot easier to do it from a weekly. I've learned that just looking at silver. It's a lot easier to figure it out from a weekly time frame than it is from a monthly time frame. But that was where we were at on the monthly, like just absolutely crazy. But I have this marked off on the chart, and I think I had that marked off on the 15-minute time frame. But this is crazy. It's not something that I would want to short, to be honest with you. It's really not something that I would want to short. Not in its, no, not looking at the monthly, but it can be short. We can take a short on it. Let's see if we're going to finish making that move into here. What am I using? Daily, daily. Yeah, daily. Which I said this could be wrong. Let me turn this off anyway. Yeah, let's go with that. Put this back on a 15. And you can always take the measure move from here and then play it out. If you don't recall what these numbers right here are, these are the best places to take short set. Really, it gets up into like 85 on the RSI. That's like one of the best places to take a short at. 85, 80, 75, something like that. This is probably like I might have it set for a 75 or something. Yeah, I think I got it set for a 75. So that's just me trying to see the momentum cooling off, turning down. And then sometimes, it can put in like a bear div like it did over here. And I can identify as a bear div because of this print right here and then no print right here. And this is higher than what it is right here. So it'll put in a bear div in some occasions. So sometimes the first one should be avoided and the second one is the one that you take, which is what I'm looking at over here for Ethereum, if we can get it. If we can get it. While Bitcoin, on the other hand, has not seen an overextension just yet. I think Aave is going to be a good long position. I'm trying to give it a little bit of time here on this 4-hour time frame. I did actually enter an Aave long position, and before I went to sleep last night, it's like, you know what? I don't want to play around with it. Now I do still have one open on my prop account, but on my personal account, which um, that's my money. I don't care too much about the prop account as I do my money. So I closed it out last night before this move happened. And I think it could be a good play. I'm just trying to give the 4-hour a little bit more time to shape up. But I was looking at the weekly time frame, which I was also looking at the weekly time frame on Bitcoin. I don't have a confirmed signal yet. I've seen other content creators, and my indicators just some stuff that I did. So I don't have their fancy stuff. It's just Pine script for me. That's it, Pine script. I don't have a confirmed signal just yet, but I can see the potential for a reversal in play. It's something else that I'm watching for on the chart that I just need to see fall through for me, and I don't have that yet. So um, give it some time. Let me see what this is. It's probably like a 50. I put this like, no, it's not even close to a 50 yet. Not even close to a 50. It's going to be right here. Hmm. Think this was we got in here yesterday. Think we no, none of this. I don't know. None of this. I don't know, just gonna give it some time, see if we can't get there. Tesla, I was looking at last night as well. You would have had to spot trade Tesla. I didn't put any sort of one of these right here on here, anything like that. And if I did, it would have been coming back up above this signal right here because it put in some bullish divergence right there. You can see right here where it printed this signal and then it continued to roll over. It was putting in bullish divergence. I did see the bull dip before we got this. When I looked at it this morning, I was like, oh, okay, so we're back up here now. So bull div right here. You can see it right there. And then this was also a 20 SMA. 20 SMA, and I think this was from a daily time frame. I was looking at, let me see. Yeah, because when it printed that signal, it also dropped into the 20 SMA here, and so now it's coming back up above 20 SMA. This from a daily time frame right here. So I'm looking at it from a daily perspective, and I would be looking for it. I see some quite a bit of what was I looking at over here? Um, got a couple of calls in here on some usual options activity. Um, and they're not all that high. So it's somewhere in between where you see price action right now, about 465 to 467 and a half, just say 468. So 465 to 468, a couple of calls in here for that. For that target, which is where it's stalling out right now. If I was a betting person, then I would say it comes back up here. But I am looking lower for Tesla. I am looking lower for it. But I think it comes back up and want to see it reject where I was just showing you at. I want to see it reject there and then come down. So I want to see it do. Um, I want to see it reject somewhere around in here and then come back down and then maybe even hit this one. That can't be determined right now, to be honest. This is curving. I can tell that this is turning to the side, so it can like still being around through here for a minute before you see an actual breakdown. Starting to squeeze though, that is important. It is starting to squeeze. This was the breakdown here yesterday, and then it was trying to get back up above the trend line, and it just failed. But I did watch this yesterday, like interesting. Make sure I don't take my eyes off the prize over here because I tend to start running my mouth, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin is done with Bitcoin is done, and Ethereum is done with Ethereum. And I want to catch this position. All right, so. I see you. I see you. Um, Nvidia smashed. Let's just start there. But um, the last time, the last time I looked at the Nvidia chart, we were seeing the breakout from the wedge, and that was going into the holiday. I think the last time I had streamed was what, Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday was Monday, I believe, was the last day I had streamed before Christmas. And so we were looking at the breakout in here, and this absolutely smashed. Oh, this was the other thing for Tesla too. But I had to be on this chart because whatever pain I have it in is going to give me some different data. Challenge myself to have different data. The gap field, we had looked at this too before. I didn't stream anymore. Christmas week. So it was just a Monday stream, and then that was it. And so yeah, I saw it was filling this gap in here, and then it has this gap here back up, which I think that that was about in line with what I was looking at for the daily Bollinger right there. And and I didn't take this gap from this time frame either. Not this one. This one I did. This one right here, I think I got this from the daily, from where we gap down from the trend line through here. That same trend line you see on that other one. That's where I got that from. And then I'm just trying to see who I'm looking at. Yeah, this was circle right here. These are just the um, four strike prices, which I did not go in and update. I haven't seen the need to do that because it's creating support and resistance around those levels right now anyway. But these are the four strikes that we have been holding religiously. So I didn't feel a need to do anything different in here. Still looking for us to kind of close, fill in the gap between price action and then the descending trend line that we have through here. Get above that, and then we can finally probably get that push up here into about 100 buckaroos. What else we got in here? Netflix. Um, I think this is from a daily time frame. This just automatically put itself on here once I restarted my PC. So nothing special here. Yeah, nothing special here. It's exactly how it would have been if I didn't have this on here, because I have it right here, and I think what I have in here is 3 month. So that was something that we were looking for in here. Let me turn this off because this wasn't intended to be in here. This is 786 as well as the 3 month low in here. Let's see where I have the other ones at. Because for some reason I don't see it. Hold on. Let me just hide that. Yeah. So that was the resistance point right here based on the 3 month time frame. And then we waited because I've given a lot of analysis here on Netflix and what I think Netflix has potential to do, but that's coming all the way back down here to the monthly standard deviation one. And this is old because it's stretched all the way out here, but this is something that we have been looking at along with these breakdown points in here are raised in here. Let me go daily. It just makes it a lot more friendly. And I think, but I'm still watching Bitcoin too. I think, if we're not going to get the bounce in here and we're not going to reclaim back above here, right now, this is the important thing for me. It's just holding here at this one. Because if we lose that, you can see we're in line for this one here. And based on historical behavior of Netflix, it has the potential to do that. I think that that puts it down to about the 70 something percent retracement. So that's something that I'm watching. I'm not going to get back into all of the analysis that I did on Netflix because I have covered it quite a bit, and I'll go back through it another day. But that's the highlight for Netflix. So and I shared with you that I'm not trading Netflix again because I don't like the way BTCC operates when it comes to trading Netflix. I don't care to be put in a hole. If I say I'm taking my long right here off of even this, I'm taking my long off of this. I'm already gonna you know be out of a little bit of money for a short period of time. Um, but I don't need you. I don't need to be in a hole because you determine that my entry price, I have to pay for that. I have to pay extra for that entry price. I don't like it. I don't trade Netflix over there. So that's that. I just don't trade Netflix over there. But looking for this to hold because this Netflix has held this. Let me hide the drawings. Netflix has held this. And I'll put this here. It's done pretty well with respecting the range. It's done pretty well with respecting the range, but should it lose this range, we'd be dropping down. Just like it lost it over here. You can see how it lost it over here and continued to. I can't go back and tell you like whether or not it bounced back up first and then this candle finished and then this candle finished in the red because it could have at that time dropped here, came back up, and then dropped again. I can't tell you whether or not it did that, but I just know that price action, if it's going to stay with the trajectory of continuing to the upside, then it will bounce away from there. So that's all I'm looking at when I'm looking at that. And you can see how it has shifted on me a little bit, but I'm not changing anything because this is it, and this trend line is in line with this one. So that's that. Holds or fails. So Bitcoin looking pretty good. We're about to get extended again, but we're gonna have to continue to range through here. Right now, looking for 88,571 on Bitcoin. So you can follow with that. All right, so I'm still looking for this. I don't want to take this right here, but I was looking at it last night, like, what would I be waiting on? So I'm not in the trade for silver. I knew last night you could have taken it from down here after seeing this candle right here, but for me personally, I just instantly set it like this right here because it kept rejecting down below here. So with silver, silver is blow off top. Thank you. Thanking myself, actually. It just hit my head. That's what it was. That's the word that I was looking for, blow off top. And I put a couple of notes in here about silver. As I went back through the chart, it just kind of see like, where could I use this? How could I use this? How could I use this to my advantage? Weekly is going to be a good time frame. The weekly. I haven't seen an occasion just yet on the weekly outside of when you first have a squeeze, then you release it. That's different. Again, that is different. That's not I want to touch that situation. But after that, if it comes into an S3, it instantly rejects off of that. This is S3 right here. You can see how it didn't touch it. So it's either going to get real close to it or it's going to tap it and then it's going to reject and you're going to get a big correction. So this was S3 right here for silver. For silver. And I did go back and test it, I rewind, replayed and tested it in other areas just to see, and I looked at the chart as well, and that's what it tends to do. So on a weekly time frame, if you're ever feeling like I want to short silver, then jump on your weekly. You will be waiting for a while. Just set an alert. Set an alert. But a S3 on the weekly, it tends to lead to a correction. Monthly RSI tends to cap out around a 97 to a 100. And it still has some space on the monthly time frame to assume that it goes back up. Right now, it's rejecting off of the 20 SMA. I know that because I'd already looked at the chart and seen that right here at this point, it's rejecting at the 20 SMA. It would have to get above that at this point, but my thing was making sure that it got above here. And this is just the same field that we were looking at yesterday, which is drawn unconventionally because the way I did it, which you can do that too. You can. Is drawn off of this weekly candle low right here. This weekly candle low to this high. That's how we did it yesterday to look for. I wanted to see it come back into the 0.886. That hasn't happened yet. I'm probably gonna rethink the 0.886. Like if it rejects from where it is right now, then I'm probably not gonna consider this. My thing is in not breaking below the prior candle low. And then we also had the I think it was like a 200 EMA, something like that, sitting right here from off the 4 hour time frame, poised right here where the 0.886 was, which is the reason why I chose that. This is where I would love to get an entry at, but I'm also going to consider this right here. I don't know how much of a blow off top silver had. If it can come down into this level, then that would be great. This is also something worth me considering just in here. And I'm basically just looking at this candle wick high to the body part of right here. There is a technical term for this, but my brain isn't going to work on that right now. It just isn't. It just isn't gonna. It's not gonna remember what it is right now. But I'm gonna show you here on a weekly with silver. You will get really close to it, or you will tap into it. But you never want to look at it when you just break out. You never want to look at it. But if you're sniffing around it, then that's going to be a pretty good place to take a short from. It doesn't actually touch it. Like if you wanted to see it touch it, then you would have to go to a monthly time frame, which I don't really care for. When I looked at it on the monthly time frame, and the reason for that is because it can go further than that if you're looking at it on the monthly. I think on this chart, right on I think here it was like a 4, so I don't want to meddle with it. This was crazy right here though. This was absolutely crazy. And sometimes you will get trapped in between 3 and 2, which is rare, unless it just did this, unless it just did something like this, and that's from a squeeze. I just preferred it here. And on most occasions, like I said, if it taps that 3, then it's going to be a place to consider getting short at. It tapped it right here, but again, this is following some sort of a expansion in here. So first one, skip. Second one, take. And I always say that skip. I used to be ready, and then I learned the hard way. Um, when I seen that, because most people that teach that cover Bollinger Bands, that's usually what it is, something like that. If I could get it here, that would be great. But this again is the wick that I'm looking at. This one. So even if this moves, I'm looking at this one. If I can get it, if I can't get it, then I can't get it. You know, I just can't get it. But we are hitting resistance. Of the resistance from the 20. See that 20 right there? We're hitting that. I'm looking forward to at least be able to get back up here. If it rejects here, then maybe, like I said, maybe I'll revisit it based on this. Maybe I'll look for it down here. And the reason why I didn't get interested, even though it was putting in these bottom and tails right here, is again because it kept rejecting. When it put in this bottom and tail, the candle wasn't able to come up above it. So that was a no-no. And then it kept rejecting, kept rejecting, kept rejecting. I don't want to take it with the understanding that it could get trapped in between here and not be prepared to break back above it. So, but once it closes above it, then okay, cool. And without having to move this all the way down here, I just say, because I'm gonna take a spot position on this. I just haven't done it yet, and I'm just not gonna do it just yet either. If it drops back below here, the point where it was getting trapped at, it could get trapped back under here again. So I don't want to be in it at that point. Just don't want to be in it in that case. You can see it there. You can see, some resistance right in here as well. And then I think I was looking at it. I mean, you already saw it with the 20 SMA, but just again, just with the 20 SMA, you can see it there. Let me do it like this right here. That way it doesn't highlight the position tool. But here you can see the 20 SMA right there. But that's a squeeze, so we'll see what ends up happening in here. If it can make its way back into this right here or not. Love to see it drop down into here. That would be great. And then I would move this. But I'm gonna be patient again if something like this happens. Gold was, and when I looked at gold, it wasn't easy because gold got low enough to fire off a signal. Even though it was putting these in right here, I only did it because it actually fired off a signal as opposed to seeing it get trapped below that previous week low, and it didn't look for it to do much either. I just didn't. For gold right now, looking for gold to actually break above here and back test here. Looking for it to back test the scene of the crime is what I'm looking for with gold. But this was, yeah, 2.5 risk reward. I just didn't want to play around, even though I know that that is what I'm looking for, a back test of this trend line right here. Um, then see if it's going to roll back down. If it rolls back down, you'd be looking for it to hold right here at 43.42. So if it comes up and does this, let's just say it doesn't actually get this far up, but gets into here, you'd be looking for it to back test here and hold there, and then you'd be looking for a continuation up. By that time, this may have flattened out and went sideways or something like that. But the only reason for this right here is because it did fire off a long signal, and that was it. And you probably would have only got a 2 to 1 instead of a 2.5. But yeah, that was it for that. What else? I don't think. Nah, Amazon, Alphabet. I think we had looked at Alphabet back then. I think we did. Same situation. I think this was what, the monthly. I know what I'm looking for. No, that's the weekly. So I know what I'm looking for. For no, I'm not actually looking for anything on Alphabet on Google. It's Amazon that I'm looking for something on. I might get interested in a short on Alphabet though. Not yet. This, which was acting as previous resistance before, may not be resistance this time coming up. Get through here and get somewhere in here, then I will see what we're looking like, and then I'll be looking for, some sort of a signal or retracement. I want to see momentum. dwindle. I want to see it start to lose momentum to the upside. So let's see how this goes once market opens. I will tweak this because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the chart today. I'm just not. Let me go back to this stuff over here. Really more so silver, because I will trade the ETF on this. Nothing else. Once it gets past here, then I'm going to jump in. I'm not going to jump in right now. All right, back here. On Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't want to make it. But I do believe we know why. Repeated problems from right here too. Repeatedly has an issue right here. Support it here, reject it here, reject it here, support it all across here. So I see why we're having such a dilemma through here. I don't know why this line looks like this. At what point reject it all through here with that little bit of an exception? Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. And I'm not a fan of using this, but I will, just depending. Not that one, this. I will, it just depends. See, I don't like this. You just get better with support and resistance. If it lines up with it, it lines up with it. If it doesn't, I don't really care for it because I can see it in the chart. Turn this red. I'm going to delete that. Yeah, we're definitely struggling. All right, let's take a look at this with USDT dominance, which is currently back at this trend line again. For me, when I looked at this last night, it could be having like a local top, like the same way Bitcoin, has a bottom that it's been hitting, and usually when you continue to hit a spot, you'll eventually break it. So I have mapped it out to include some things in here, such as, I mean, we know the golden pocket, that could be a thing. The yellow boxes are the biggest thing for me. Price coming into those, which sits eerily close to this. So part of my ignorance. Um, But when I was looking at it, it looked like it could be forming some sort of a local top in the time being, and that this will actually break down. Again, the support level is through here. Maybe just back testing where we got the break out from the wedgie structure. I covered this yesterday as well, and every other day. This could be what it does. I think that'll give Bitcoin its push. In fact, you know what I said on Tuesday? No, Monday. I think it was Monday, that I think that this is the time to really start looking up on Bitcoin just a little bit more. And again, I'm not looking for much of anything. Like I've been calling for the 382, maybe even the 50. That's about it, because the technical suggests that it is. We're in a bear market. So yeah, I don't expect a whole lot from it. Let me slide this one out. So we get that break. For starters, I'm gonna look at that 6% right here. And we'll just call it 6.1 just to round it up. 6.1% move in here. Regardless of what that does, that would probably give Bitcoin that boost it needs to get up to that golden pocket. If nothing else, that's what this would do. But it looks like it's forming a local top here. And then if we lose that, I'm just going to look here towards this trend line right here, because it's been building for a while. I'm not going to be necessarily looking all the way down here. I will be looking, for something like this, wherever this may be. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I didn't see anything else in here. Well, let's just go ahead and zoom through and look at some of. Actually, before I do that, let me just check one other thing. Um, to find what I'm looking for. Sometimes I can't always find it. Um, Open a new tab. And my watch list. Surprised I don't have that in here. That's interesting. Hmm. All right, no symbol found. Let me find another way of doing this. At some point, I'm going to learn how to use this thing. I haven't figured it out yet. There we go. Boy. I will speak up once I can find this. I'm having a hard time right now. Trying to navigate this thing. It's annoying. Should be easier. Hmm. Okay, I think I figured out how to do it now. All right, let me go. And then let me change what I'm looking at now. It's paying 52. I'm gonna move this. We're gamma positive right now, just an FYI. Barely, but we are. I just wanted to check that. All right. Come on, Bitcoin. I was about to do. Let's take a look at XRPZ. So everything is basically the same. It's kind of cute. If it happens, it is. It's probably somewhere in between here, around these lows. Sure enough, it is. Nada's having a really, really rough time. And still might be a chance for it to get into these lows in here, right around the 20 SMA. Still a chance. Just having a rough time though. I don't see anything here that I would really want to play with. It could be an inverse head and shoulders here on ADAP. We don't know that right now. We want to see it be able to get above here where it's been catching resistance at. Hmm. Let's see what we landed on in terms of psychological levels. Golden pocket. Golden pocket, 20 SMA. It looks like it's squeezing. So it's in the middle of the range. It's a psychological level, but it is in the middle of the range. It would not be for me. Yeah, it would not be for me. This is definitely squeezing. Sweet. Look like we put in one big bull div. This is kind of like what Ave was looking like. Yeah, look at that one big bull div right through here. Um, but that's from a 15-minute perspective, and it has been catching hell. A little bit. I did this yesterday too, I think. Well, I put it at the wrong spot. It's already taking the liquidity down here. Interesting. A good bit of support down through here too. I like Sui's chart. Sui's just something different for me. I apparently have not. Yeah, still with the big coil. I think this is still correct. I'm not sure. I think it is. Let me see. It may not be. This looks like I did it a month ago, so it may not still be correct. I don't see a need to really change it because we're still just coiling in here. But if we do manage to get the break out of here, then it's still set for what I would be looking for, which is going to be back into the low here, which is the one-to-one of a range break. Still holding above this low down through here. I actually like this. I've bought Sui's spot based on this. I bought it here. I bought it here, and then I have a setup to buy it here if it comes into it. It hasn't come here yet, so hopefully it doesn't. But I did buy just based on it being in bear market territory, starting with this one right here. And albeit while it's slow in the process of getting that breakout or a strong push to the upside, it did seem to have some sort of a falling wedge or something like that within this zone right here. Just waiting for it to act on it. Double bottom. Can say that too. But if it does lose this, then you have to look down here. And then I'll get filled again and I stop filling orders at 98. That'll be my last position fill because if it's not holding here, then it's, it already, did this. It managed to not take out this low over here, which was great. But this is where I stop at with the buying in the event that it comes down much lower. I don't want to keep adding. My crypto portfolio, my HODL portfolio looks like garbage right now. Absolute garbage. I want to watch these, but really, whatever Bitcoin does is basically what the rest of this is going to do. But at least this coiling is preparing to finally play out on Sui. And just give it a little bit more time. It's squeezing for a reason. So that could be good. That could be really good. Gonna bet for the upside. Oh, in fact, let me just look back at this daily again. Just forget that noise. Um, Hovering around 20 SMA above that. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing it hasn't done is a mean reversion. So I'm just gonna believe that once that squeeze happens, it breaks to the upside because it hasn't managed to do this. Hasn't managed to get above 50 just yet. Once that mean revert happens, yeah. Even here, 20 SMA. Even here, everything is sitting close to a mean revert on Sui. I like it. I like it. This was a terrible 2 to 1 is what it's supposed to be. But like I said, I took this. I got into it on my personal account, which I closed out. I do still have it open on my prop account, and I haven't taken any profit off of it, and it's already retraced back down. So it did, yeah. Um, but it was worth me looking at last night, just because I could see the sort of overextension. Like we're in between 3 and 2, which isn't something that's typical. Um, but we were still trading outside of this one right here. And how I had it last night, it kept hitting against. I could see that it was about to break above back into to 2, and it kept struggling there. But eventually, it did it, and I wasn't looking for too much more than that. So it's a good thing I wasn't, because if I had been looking for anything more than that, then this would not have worked out. But it was just a really, I mean, if you get a 2 to 1, that's decent. It's not a great trade. It's not a great trade, but I think that this one is going to turn around. Even if it comes back down here again, I think this one is preparing to turn around and get a larger move up. So I like the Ave chart. At this point, that is improvement, because now it's in between 1 and 2 now. So now I can look to 1 and 2, look forward to, I mean, it can stay in between here and it can continue to roll to the downside. It can continue to roll to the downside. And that was why looking for more than that just wasn't going to be worth it. Um, Now the next move is staying within here, staying within 2, and then breaking above 1, and then getting a move into 20. But yeah, it wasn't enough for me to even take the profit off of the prop account, so it's still sitting open and about break even. Unfortunately, it's about break even now, but I like the chart. I haven't looked at theta in forever. I don't think I want to look at it. Let's take a look at Chainlink. Sorry. I don't know how old this is, so I'm just gonna delete it. It's looking like everything else. Again, the low right here is probably gonna be the golden pocket. Golden pocket. It would be overextended coming into here, which would be a short, and I would only be looking for it to come back down towards this right here if it does. Because if it starts to consolidate between here, then you don't want to play around with the short. That's gonna be my take. I'm gonna put it just slightly above this low. I'm just gonna set it on 50. Really don't want to take it, um, unless, I mean, it could pop up and do an SFP of this level. It's to be determined. It's something to watch, like as it is, but I'd be careful about trying to put that to a 50. I'd be That's as good as it's gonna get. I'd be careful about just doing a limit entry. If it manages to come up and do an SFP, that'd be a better entry. It'd be overextended at the same time. This looks like it's squeezing though, so I don't know what this time frame wants to do. But psychologically, people will be looking to take a short there and see if it makes sense if price gets there before jumping into it. H bar. This isn't bad. This isn't bad. This could be a long entry. It's in the middle of the range. I hate trading in the middle of the range. It's in the middle of the range. Yeah, it's in the middle of the range. I don't like it. But it might not be bad. It's in the middle of the range. And it could be because it's got bear divs trying to come up, not getting above 50. That sounds about like what it is. Well, it has been pushing above 50, but it has been bear diving. So it's been getting bear divs. That's not terrible. Could probably take this and uh, hitting resistance. By the time it comes up this resistance, you go back to hitting some resistance. Yeah, I'm not going to do any middle of the range trading. It might work out, but I'm going to say no to that. Pendle. I'll look at Pendle. I'm gonna go back to Bitcoin because whatever it's doing, the rest of it is probably gonna follow suit. So no. You can see I use repeat indicators. It's all the same. They're all the same with the exception of no, they're all the same actually. So it's two of the same indicators basically. It's just three of the same indicators, three of the same metrics basically. These are two of the same. They're both moving averages and then Bollinger Bands. Yeah. And just repeat, repeat, repeat. So never mind that. I just have an interest. That's why it's all over my chart. I'm intrigued. Come on, Betty. right, so we're probably not going to get any progress there. Just check out silver again, see how we're holding up. All right, we're doing all right on silver. And the reason why I modified this down a little bit lower here, it's just where max pain is sitting at. It's somewhere down here around 86. And again, if you don't know how to get to max pain, I'll show you here. And I'm just going to put this on something else, and then that way you can see. Let me go open interest instead. All right. So if you log into CoinGlass, which is free, so you log into CoinGlass, you want to go to liquidation. In liquidation, you see where it reads max pain. That's what you want to click on. You got your heat map and everything else in here too, but you want to click on that. And then it starts to show you where max pain is for longs and for shorts. We're a little closer to short max pain, which is at 88,252. So if I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart, that looks about like where, yeah, it's about where price came up to, but it didn't tap into this. It came very, very, very close before rejecting right there. But that's where it would be at. And then you have different ways you can look at it. For for Bitcoin, you can see how it's at 86,075 right here. And I pushed out. I prefer a weekly time frame, 24 hours a weekly, just to see how they look. It's all pretty much the same. I don't care. This one right here, 86.2. So I put it to match more so. Initially, it was to match the weekly, but you can see that this is even just slightly lower. So that's why I have that second long position set up down there. If it happens, hope it don't happen, to be honest. But I mean, it can happen, and if it does, that's what I'll be looking for. The next place that I will be looking for on Bitcoin, now that you know how to get to max pain, is going to be where the golden pocket is, which is around 70, 75. And that's just because I see the restore interest in the level from looking at CoinGlass. I'm going to show you that, but give me just a minute. All right. So the reason why I'm doing that is because, okay, so you're here in your own max pain. Just click on one of the tickers. So I'm just going to click on Bitcoin. It's going to take me to the heat map just by clicking on it. And we can see the liquidity up here already that we were just looking at, right? For the max pain. All right, so we're gonna come over here and I want to look at options open interest by strike. By strike. That's what I want to see. I usually turn this notion stuff right here off. It doesn't matter if you leave it on. I just like to see the clear view, but you can see the restore interest over here. So if we were to fall into right now, like I was saying, with IBIT, we're just barely clinging on to gamma positive uh, on IBIT. If we start to and see current price action, we're somewhere right in here, right? We're somewhere. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, we're somewhere around in here. Pretty, more calls in here than puts. But if we start to roll back, then this could get interesting, especially if we're um, negative. And if we're gamma negative, then market makers would look to hedge. So hedging is going to be a bigger thing. So they're short with the market, and then this could become where price action pulls back into in that event. So just kind of watching for that as well, which is going to be in tune with the golden pocket that we never hit. And it's fine if we didn't hit it. It's a psychological level. So you can do it by expiry too. I don't like it here on CoinGlass because it's too much guesswork for me. Um, yeah, I don't like it. So I'm not. And that golden pocket, that's right here. We're going to struggle so bad with this level. I don't even think that we managed to get up here. I know we don't have volume. I'm almost certain we don't. I don't even have volume in here. I'm pretty sure volume is petty. If I had to, like I was saying when I was showing you the volume range, for me personally, I would tell you that this is your point of control, as opposed to how if you pull it, it's sitting down here somewhere. I don't like that. Just good old price action. You can see where it's stopping out. You can see where it's holding. You can see where it's stopping out. Stopping out. This is your point of control. And if we're not getting past this, then we got problems. And if we get past this, then we can see where we're stopping out, where we're stopping out, where we're stopping out, where we're stopping out. You know, this would do it for me. And I don't really know how anybody else pulls theirs. You can pull it how you want to. Yeah, this isn't it for me. Oh boy. This is some good liquidity down here too. Relatively equal lows. That's what we were talking about yesterday when we were looking at this as a potential entry after this liquidity right here gets taken, right? This is what we were looking at. All of this down through here. It's so sad that all we did yesterday was just do this. And we know liquidity is low. We know it's the end of the year. We know that people just spent a lot of money on their on a holiday. Some people probably were still on vacation. Blah. Would be, we could be waiting until next year to start to see a little bit more liquidity come back into the market for price action to be less stable. We know that. Also, I'm going to be changing the time in which I start. It's I haven't determined when I'm going to start doing that, um, but it's to a point now where I feel like I have to because nothing's really happening in the market. If it does happen, it's probably about 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Um, I start at 5, and at 5 it's been pretty stable. It's usually around the time where traditional market opens that it starts to become a little bit more active, and even then it can fade out within the first 1 hour. Yep, not looking good. Not looking too good. I can see the resistance point too. If you use commodity channel index, CCI, you could probably see the resistance on this too. If you do it how I've kind of explained to you about using a 20, so changing the settings to a 20 on your signal line, you can see that even with the RSI, we're just at the midpoint, so we're not doing a mean. We're not breaking the mean on the 4 hour. We're still below the mean on the 4 hour. Ethereum managed to perform better because Ethereum did manage to break the mean, which gave it, a little bit more overhead. But Bitcoin is not breaking the mean. It's a good TP level if you were long Bitcoin, is to take profit at the mean. Now, if market opens and we're still sitting here, it could be a quick pump to the upside for that move right there. But right now, we're still. Let me drop that. And you can see right here how we're not coming above 50. Hard to tell because I don't have that par in here. Yeah, just have to add it. I'm sorry to fade it out so bad on you, but you can see how it's just coming up to about 50 and it's not pushing up past that. It was doing that before back in here. That's basically what it is. And if I weren't using that, let's just say I was using the CCI, and you can see that too. It's just hitting the mean, just hitting the signal line. And this is set for a 20. Instead of it rising, which is keeping us in a consolidated state, instead of it rising, it's sitting right around the zero, around the zero instead. And it has remained here even when the commodity channel has pushed up higher. Yeah. Because the 4 hour is just sideways consolidation right now. Until it isn't, that's all it is. And we just swept the liquidity off of the top basically. That's all we did. And delete this. So right here, price action. This has been us for the past. We swept the liquidity from the mother bar right there. And that's it. That's all we've done. They didn't sweep the liquidity down here. Usually, if it's a sweep up here, I do look for either a sweep down here or a run down here, a breakdown from here, which, we're looking at the 85, blah, blah, blah. This is 85.3. I'm looking lower than this point right here. Let's see if that happens. It's a new 4 hour just open. Hooray. See what it wants to do. It looks like that might have gave us some overhead. Might have gave us a breakthrough. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. That did just push it up, I think. Yeah. But we'll see if that holds. All right. And it's not that we've done more than we did before. It just looks a little bit more interesting now. What is this stopping at 89,575? So that's golden pocket, right? If we're getting it, I think that this is the golden pocket. No, it's not. 786. So that's 786 there. Golden pocket here. It would be a lot for it to get to this point. A lot. If we can get there. We haven't done anything different just yet. It just looks more interesting on the 4 hour if it's going to get up there. But if it drops back down below there, below here, then yeah, just keep my eyes on that. Mm. See if we can get it. It's gonna be tough. Only thing that's still got me hanging on a little bit is gonna be like the 1 hour time frame, but this is this is challenging. Very challenging. That was our gap fill yesterday. Mm. Let me block this. You can tell how illiquid we have been. Look at those little bars. Hmm. Oh boy. Don't forget that today we do have an FOMC meeting. It's the minutes meeting. And it's going to be at 2 p.m. And then tomorrow we do have unemployment claims, but and that's going to be the last thing going into New Year. So let's see what today brings around 2 p.m. Um, maybe 2:30, whatever is said. It may not even be anything relevant. Let's see. We'll see. That's 8:30 today for the FOMC meeting, and then tomorrow unemployment claims 8:30 a.m. So that's it for our weekly insight. And then we welcome in 2026. Not that I'm not looking for price action to get up to the golden pocket, because I really am. I just wanted to put this here because I know that that liquidity is just above here. And 88,252 or 88,253 is what the liquidity is, and you would expect for price action to break above that point, not just simply reject at that point, but actually push above to grab any additional liquidity that might be able to get to. I am still banking on the golden pocket as a primal entry for a short position, but we'll see how extended we are when we do come up right here. Could be a scalp if nothing else. Mm-hmm. See. That's quite the wait. 74, 75. One, two, three. The 4 hour kicking up a little bit. All right. Let me just see. Um, what's this? The other thing we got right here is what we keep not being able to get past this at the moment is also the 60 EMA on the 4 hour. So if I was just looking at those two, I'm not going to turn the other ones on. Um, Let's see, that's the 60 EMA right here. Also, oh, what a mess. Can always break to the downside. I'm just looking at. Y'all know I'm a little OCD when it comes to trend lines. a little, a little OCD. Forgive me. And see how is that making sense? Okay. It's kind of not making sense. It's not kind of not making sense. It's not making sense. But I'm only looking at the liquidity that's right there. Like I said, probably be a scalp, but nothing else, because it really doesn't make sense what I did right there. I'm just, because I know I'm looking at a 4 hour time frame on a lower time frame, but yeah, for a 4 hour, it doesn't make sense. Gold is looking good so far. So far, it's doing pretty good. Silver made it through that resistance. I did not look back at silver. Kind of upsets me a little bit. Uh, that's cool though. It got through that resistance. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. But so far so good here over on gold. Continuing to push up. Looking for some sort of a reaction around this point here. Let's see if we get it. It can still push all the way up. Um, Even for the back test of the breakdown here. Actually, better breakdown would have been across here. I noticed that yesterday, but this was on a larger perspective. But I did peep that. Then I did peep that. If I follow along like I'm supposed to, because sometimes I don't always do it. Um, and just get tired of drawing lines at some point. But that's looking pretty good. So far, so good. And then silver, it got past the resistance that was here. May just be tagging. Let's see. Let me just do this. Yeah, not yet. It's all the way up here. And then this is towards the overextended point right here. But so far, it's looking good. So I guess if it's going to back test something because it got past this, I hate when that happens. Let me just use this. So far, because it got past this 20 right here, see if it wants to reject here, back test there, continue into here. It could just blast all the way up through here though, because this is an open mouth. So it doesn't have to, do this and this, then come back up and do this, come back up, do this, attempt there. And yeah, it doesn't have to. So we'll see. That's looking pretty good. I missed it. I should have set an alert for it. Once I could, once once it broke above here, I didn't. So I think it's pretty good from here. It's just still not. Yeah, it's pretty good from here though. It's above it now. Quap. Mm. Yes, it's selling now. It is definitely selling now. This one is coming up. This one might do that and then do a back test of this right here. Once it flattens, it could do that. Again, it's an open mouth, but I would think of an instant rejection with that, with this situation with gold. Nice. Nice though. I heard someone mention 2-bit. I don't know if American citizens can use 2-bit or not. All the other ones that I've checked that do offer leverage trading on gold and silver per se. I know with BTCC you can't trade it. Right. Actually, I don't know if I can trade it right now. I never checked that. I know that specific things in the stock market you have to wait for market to open, but I never checked to see if that was the case with metals. I never checked to see that. But you still have a certain quantity you have to buy regardless. Um, so yeah, I could after trade spot. I can trade spot, which is what I was waiting to do. But mm, too late. Too late. And Delta's starting to diverge on the well, not diverge, but starting to lose a little bit of momentum on the 1 hour with the Delta. That's the one thing I have been watching too, along with the 4 hour. It's been the 1 hour time frame, but just looking right here, still positive for the most part. This right here, um, no suggestion just yet. Not fully, not fully. But this is still positive, so that's why I'm being patient with the short as well too. Just want to give it time. It's in the middle of the range. And we're not bullish enough for me to wanna, or particularly bearish enough right now. We're too sideways for me to want to trade the middle of the range. Gold is gone. See, now it's crossing above zero, or attempting to get that cross above zero. I mean, so I like the 1 hour. Dang. back. Let me check to see if that could be traded while I'm here. I could trade that metals right now. My favorites. We'll look see at gold here. I don't see anything telling me that I can't. I guess it's just stuff like Nvidia, Palantir, Apple, stuff like that. Not. Yeah. Okay. So I could. But. Hmm. Oh, I don't even have to. They're not forcing me to buy. Okay. With gold, I don't even have to. Because usually with BTCC, you have to, you know, they either give you a multiple that you have to buy, or you have to at least buy one. So something like that. You don't have to do that with gold. That's interesting. I don't have to do that with gold. With silver, you have to buy multiples of 100. But with gold, you don't. You just have to buy in an integer multiple of 0.1. So at least 0.1. Okay. Some other time, but not now because missed the boat. I missed the boat. I'll be back. I'll be back. 2 hour RSI looks really healthy on gold too while I'm talking. I mean, because Bitcoin is, we're still waiting. We're still in that same range. But the 2 hour RSI looks very healthy. Looks very healthy. Even if it tops out at this would be like a mean rejection if it did a little pivot or retracement here just to come back down here and back test the area here. Or where is it? Somewhere in here. Even if somewhere in here probably. um, if it had to reject there and come back and back test there and then get the continuation, it's healthy. So I like that for this 2 hour. Hmm. Let's see on the 15. Yeah, so it would just be a mean reversion, not a a mean rejection on the hourly time frame as opposed to here. As opposed to here. Okay. Got all of those little candles of red. candle just opened inside. Let's see if I can see it here. Get into indecision. Yeah, probably. I still prefer white. That orange. Actually, the orange actually is easier on my eyes. Easier on my eyes. But yeah, that inside on that indecision, that was something. It still might just hold right here. That's why I doubled up on it. All right, holding so far. Bitcoin is looking petty right now, so still got my eyes on it, but it's looking a little petty right now. Let's see, what resistance are you catching? Let's see. That is working. Here we go. Let's see. Not bad. I don't know why I did that. Dropped on 30. That's the indecision candle right there. I can see what it's trying to grab onto. What a battle. What a battle. I'm still going to be looking. I mean, just if it does it. Hmm. But this is what it ultimately, I could see the potential support that was right here. Let me show it to you. It was essentially right to here off of this moving average right here, and now it's hitting on this one. Yeah. Just figured it'd be better to use array instead. It came up. It's above it now. So it's just kind of sandwiched in between it now, looking for that continuation down, possibly just into here. Hopefully, we can get it back down there towards that standard deviation one. And then I will look to partake in the fruits of gold. I hate all this jumpy stuff. It's jumping around a little bit too much for me on that time frame. I hate it. I hate it. But it did, that moving average did come up above it a little bit more there after that close. So maybe here. Anyway, a little bit too jumpy. Still has to invalidate where it got stuck inside. It might. It might. I would not be the one to short. That's all I know. Alright, so this is kind of stalling right now, so I'm going to go back to something else that's stalling, which is Bitcoin. Once it breaks down, I'll let you know. I mean, it did from that indecision candle and where it got stuck on the inside. But if it makes its way down here, I'll let you know. Right now, it's still holding that support. You know what I'm looking for? 2 hour. I need a retracement if I'm gonna get it. It's probably not going to happen on that candle anyway. Maybe the next 2 hour candle opens and then it might, after it reaches the 4-4-10, then maybe it does it there. I just don't, I don't like it from where it is. There's no actual resistance there. It is sideways. No bear div. Yes, bear div. No bear div. Expanding. So yeah, it's good not to touch it. All right, let's get to the next level. Go. I'm talking about the chart. I'm not on it, but I'm talking about it. Sorry. And again, this doesn't fully make sense. And I say this doesn't fully make sense. I'm talking about this potential SFP. It doesn't fully make sense, but resistance is through here. Liquidity is here also. Ethereum still same thing, pretty much like Bitcoin. Some sort of a triangular structure taking place in here. If we can get past this point that we're rejecting, this might get moved up. I set it like this too for an SFP of this point right here, but this might get moved up. We shall see. We shall see. Could also be worth the wait. Doom, 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 doom. All right, guys. I am going to prepare to end the stream because we're really, really, really not doing anything right now. We're still just, forming this triangular structure in here, not getting back to the top side of it just yet, which if it did come back up here, I would expect for it to get the breakout here. I didn't even check to see if we're squeezing right here in this section, but let me just check to see if that is the case. We're squeezing right here. And we can see from the pattern, but sometimes it doesn't always align with some sort of a volatility indicator. But we are squeezing right here. So we're looking for either a breakup or a breakdown. I know that's not what you want to hear. I think the 4-hour has the potential to push price up into the golden pocket. My bias right now is for a continuation up. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here with this on the chart looking for a continuation up. Now, I know that in the event that that fails, what I'd be looking for is going to be to the downside. But squeeze confirmed. This confirmed. Triangle is confirmed, okay? Triangle is confirmed. 4-hour again suggests that there is the probability of price getting that push up. Will it be overextended? Absolutely, especially here on the 15-minute time frame. May want to actually drop down to a lower time frame. I'm looking for an SFP here just because of the liquidity that's sitting in here. That liquidity could cause price action to have some sort of reaction. I would treat it like a scalp. I really would. Because if it doesn't SFP here, then you got all this through here. You see how we gapped up here beforehand? It can easily move through this area right here. Same way it gapped down easy back to this section right here. So this section right here, price action is easy to move once it can get past here, but we've been struggling to get past here so far. But once it can, it will be an easy move. Now to the downside, I'm looking for the liquidity that sits down here around the 86.50, something like that. I did, you know, this may not get hit. It is well below standard deviation 2, but that's fine by me, which means, I mean, if it's sitting at a 50 now, it might be really overextended trying to get down here to this point unless it starts to consolidate like it's doing now, which is, you know, you just get bored. You just get bored, and that's just all to it. So, boring sideways, same way it was bored sideways through here, but the expectation was that it would push back up, just, based on what I was looking at in the chart anyway. That was the expectation. I mean, we did a 12. We had a 12 all the way down here before we got this SFP off of this point right here. So that just made sense. It just did. And then this was divergence, bullish divergence through here. Why? We were 12. That's why. I sound angry when I said that. We had 12 read on the RSI. That's why we got bullish divergence. Yeah, it's it's sensible. It makes sense. All right. So it's no different than up here. We got I think we did get a bear div through here. Even though we got that print right there, we were really extended. It just makes sense. Just makes sense for me. For me, that is. So those are the two things that I'm looking for here. And again, on Ethereum, if it can be done, it's already tapped into this golden pocket right here one time for that rejection, where it's also doing the same thing, where it's putting in this little wedgie formation here. Actually, I couldn't draw this out if I wanted to, but let me just see. Oh, look at the squeeze. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Yeah. So waiting for another impulse move if it can come through here. I set this again for an SFP of this right here. Could it go higher? Absolutely. If it did go higher, what would I be looking at? Be looking at this, to be honest with you. This is flat on a 4-hour time frame. On a 4-hour time frame, see right now we're like a 60. Like this would be overkill if it came up to here on the 15-minute time frame. But can it do this? How it came up and it was overkill, and then it continued back up. It can do that. So just understand that. I probably would. It's not going to be sustainable. Let me just put it to you like that. Whatever move it makes up here, it's not going to be sustainable. I don't see it sustaining. If I'm looking at it here, I mean, if it took this liquidity, that would be great. That would be great if it took that liquidity. And I think that it was looking pretty decent just in here. It looks pretty decent to me. Yeah, and if it grabbed that liquidity with this big gap in between, that's absolutely, I see it rejecting. Yeah. If price action could get that. Otherwise, lots of resistance through here. Lots of resistance through here. To just do that bit alone of just this part of liquidity right here, which is how it's set up for the SFP. That would do. But then you can see, like, if it did push up higher towards that 3,041, if that did happen, because, yeah, we'll be in a state that I don't think, would work out, not immediately. So I'll be looking for a rejection of that. Again, I wouldn't look for too much of a pullback, but if it gives it to you, it gives it to you. So this would be that SFP. You will only be so lucky to get this one right here. And that would only come from some sort of consolidation like it's doing now. It doesn't look like it'll be a sustainable move. So if it gets up here, I'll be looking to short right around in here. So that can, again, be moved. I have it set for the SFP. It can be moved. It can be risen. It can be risen to the resistance of these lows in here. It's perfect. It's a perfect lineup right there. 34, 3011. I like it. What else was there? Solana's not really doing the best, not doing the worst. So I'll watch that. As far as gold is concerned and silver is concerned, have to pardon the noise because it's on. The noise is on. I'll be looking for a pullback into these highs in here. And then from there, I'll be looking for price action to continue to try to push up. And this is just actually, let me put it on a 2 hour, make sure I'm telling you the right thing. And I am. It's actually, yeah, that's correct. That is correct. That's what I'm looking at. That is correct. I mean, if it could get a back test here, that would be great. That's back at the previous week low. If, you know, we already tapped that. That's what it was. I was like, what resistance are we hitting? I forgot to look over here at the 20 because we were talking about it beforehand. I'm like, what are we hitting? What are we hitting? Okay, I see it now. I can see it now. Because I don't have it on to show. I didn't have it on anyway, but that's what it was. It was here off this 2 hour. Dang. Okay, so this would be perfect if a back test here into 4340 happened. That would be perfect. Um, this will have moved slightly, so just understand that and see if anything else will make sense with it. If it does, um, golden pocket would make sense with it. But outside of that, I would probably look here. So I would check here around the highs over here because you can see how price reacted here. It could act as some sort of support. I do expect for it to get some sort of a rejection in here and then a continuation. But that, yeah, this would be one place here. And then here would be the best place, in my opinion. That would be the best place, and then continue. Then for it to go sideways a little bit and then continue. And it's starting to squeeze through here too, so it will try to make that move. I'm assuming it will try to make that move. Right now, it has been showing some respect to this level, so I'm just waiting to get that breakdown. But even this time frame is starting to put in a bit of a squeeze. It's starting to contract a little bit through here. So that's the level that I was looking for. Following this breakdown right here makes sense now. Just looking at it, makes a lot more sense now. And then there is no other connection. Oh, there is no other connection except for the low that it got here. So you could also set it like that, which is in line with this one. Do I like that? Do I not like that? I just know that if I could get it here, I would be happy with taking an entry. I can't get it there. I don't know. I didn't consider this, but I don't really like it. Well, yeah, I do. I did consider that because I talked about those, uh, this over here. So just allow it to drop down into here. And if you're lucky to get it there, then that's one thing. But that over the hours that will move. So I like here. Just put on your Bollinger. You can just do that. You've already broken that one. I'll take that out. Silver. I'm just looking for a long. I don't have a reason to want to jump short from there because it's still very strong. It's still very strong. Using a 2 hour on this. That just expanded too. So that doesn't look like it's coming back yet. That just expanded. And that's what we were watching for a push into this one. But it is an open mouth. So bear that in mind. I know an open mouth can push all the way through, which is why this is set for it. And on any sort of a pullback, I'll be looking for these highs in here to hold that support and then get the continuation up here. Just looking back around towards the previous week high in here for silver. I want this, so hopefully it does put in a lower high and then it comes back down. I want this, but I'm not sure how much I'm gonna want it if it happens at this point. Um, but I will take a look at that, and then I'll take a look at this. This would be spot for me, as far as silver is concerned. Spot, no leverage on this one. RSI is still healthy there. Tesla's still holding the support level. And it's still just sort of moving in between where we talked about the 465 and 467 because you got a little bit of unusual activity around those price points there for Tesla, um, with an expiration date coming into play. So market makers, they've basically hit one, I think already for the 465. Yeah. And they're probably, I mean, they could um, pin price somewhere around that point. And then you got Netflix as well, which I didn't really get into or look at, but yeah, still holding here, still holding, following that bullish divergence. Just waiting for market to open, I suppose. Even though we can see you know, these lows in here acting as a little bit of resistance. Got this little gap into here too, which I highlighted from my other charts. And yeah, I don't think that there was really anything else. Robinhood still bouncing around off of that golden pocket. And Coinbase, I talked about this monthly level in here on Coinbase where we did manage to just kind of SFP off of that before. So really looking for this to hold. But when I was last looking at this, it actually might. I think it will, and then we'll break back up. Um, if we're not, I'm just going to look at this. I can look at the EMAs as well. Yeah. EMAs don't make it look pretty, that's for sure. And it's squeezing down through here when we looked at it. I'm assuming that we're going to break to the upside personally. That's what I'm looking for, a break to the upside. So some sort of an impulsive move in here for Coinbase to the upside. That might be the same situation when we finish out that Bitcoin play. It's coming back up now. That's cool. And then I think it's just those. I got strategy in here. Let me move strategy up here with everything Bitcoin related. We didn't actually tap the support level, but we're above it. I'm cool with that. If price does come down, I would be looking for 152 to hold. You see where we've started rejecting off of the prior support level. I mean, might even break it like it did over here, and then just look for it to reclaim back above it. And then we only got one additional support level down through here, which is further off. And I did it like this because this entire zone is a support zone, but I broke it into pieces because it's difficult with the range this wide, and it had all of these levels in here that I could identify as potential places that price action would react to. And I don't think that there was anything in here that was useful, and it isn't. There's nothing useful on the indicators for me, at least not from this 2 hour time frame. I probably could push out and find something, but let me see how bad the daily looks. Still putting in some bullish divergence on strategy. Doesn't guarantee that it plays out, but I mean, right now it is still putting in some bullish divergence, and by the time it gets a pop up, it's going to be a bear div, but it is still putting in bull divs. Here it doesn't look as overwhelming, but it is like a $40, not necessarily 40, but good enough. And I think I had this on. I don't know why I'm stuck on a 2 hour time frame right now. I just am. Weird. Let me see how overwhelming this is. Squeezing. I'm pretty sure everything probably Bitcoin related is looking the same way. Yeah, basically looking the same way. And at this point, this is in the middle of the range. So you're either waiting to short or you're waiting for it to drop down outside of the middle of the range into the lows and then take it from here. But this is in the middle of the range for me. Bitcoin just tapped top side here. I hate to see it rejecting. I hate to see it reacting with the rejection there, as we want to see the breakout. Let me just take that wording out of here. I hate to get all anal again before I go. I'm just so special. Sorry, I'm special. So sorry, I'm special. I just don't know how to not do this like that. I cringe when I see people draw lines and it's off a little bit. I don't know. And this, I know that's still not perfect. Okay. I think I've done the run through what I'm looking for. Gold is continuing to get that move to the downside. So we're looking at that next point. And every time I say I'm about to go, I end up trying to hang around to make sure you get the creme de la creme. That was terrible. I know it was. It's still continuing to, we're watching it. We're watching it. You should be watching it. You should be watching it if it's something that you're interested in. And we'll see. I think silver. Silver's just kind of reacting to gold. That's it. And gold just tapped into the 20 SMA as well. So want to see it lose that and come all the way in. But right now it is at the 20 SMA on the 15-minute time frame. Okay. Most of the time I will try to take that out. It just depends. Depends on what the rest of the indicators are doing, whether they like the mean or not. And that's painful. Put that on here. Let's see. I think I have it set for 15. Let's switch it to a 2. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a stream. I've given you the highlights of what I'm looking at, how I think this might go. I really hate seeing that we actually came back up here and rejected, because if I'm looking at this like, ABCD or ABCDE, then that's not the outcome. Again, you could look down here. I'm still trying to give this hope to this 4 hour time frame that it actually prevails and um, pushes up into that golden pocket. But right now we're just still straddling the mean, and it may keep it like this until 9:30. And I'm not going to be here until 9:30, not today. So you got what you're looking at. You got what you're looking at. I gave you what you're looking at on gold as well. Which, again, is finding a little bit of support right here at these highs when it got this bounce breakdown right here. Also got the 20 SMA right in here too. But these highs in here did offer some sort of support, and versus it coming right here. It's not done yet, in my opinion. Uh, ugh. And I'm looking at it from, let me see on 15. Could be though, could be. That like these highs. I'm still gonna be looking for it to come in a little bit lower. If I'm gonna mess around with it, it's gonna have to come in a little bit lower. Um, but it is respecting the highs in here for now. I'm gonna be trading off of the 2 hour time frame. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I won't. Okay, I won't. So far, this is doable. What I was saying down in here, this is doable. This is the best. This is the best, in my opinion, for it to come back and back test somewhere around these highs in here. Um, just have to see if it gives it. That's it. So, with that, I appreciate you being here, joining me. I'm down to Crypto TA. I haven't really been posting a lot of stuff, so I'm not going to even ask you to follow me on my socials right now, because I have not been posting a lot of stuff. It really hasn't been anything to post. I gave the best entries for both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and that was at much lower levels. And at this point, I don't see anything to say because we've basically been sideways. Um, so yeah, that's why I haven't really been posting anything. And right now, whatever Bitcoin is doing is going to be the basis for the rest of the market in most cases. That's going to be what dictates their direction. And right now Bitcoin really isn't doing a whole lot. It's not doing a whole lot. The only other thing I can think of that I looked at on Monday with you, it was this coin called what is that coin called? Beat. This is what I looked at with you on Monday last, and yeah, it was hold on, where was the projection at? It was up here. Yeah. This was the last thing I looked at with you, and you can see from how this is even drawn. This was where I was saying that this is a short, but I wasn't going to take this short because the price on Blowfin was way off for me. It was way off from the price that it was showing on you know this chart. So I didn't take the short on it, but it hit. The short definitely played out. I think I was looking at it coming somewhere right around in here. I moved this right here yesterday, just dropped it in because I was thinking about taking a position on it if the price was looking a lot more equivalent to what I'm seeing here off of this chart. So I did extend this all the way back down to, I think I took it, yeah, right here to this low part right here. So it's at golden pocket 786 right now, or not even golden pocket, but 618. So it's at the 618 level right here, and then this is the 786 down here at the low part. And that's the only way I'm going to touch is if it makes sense for me to do so. And I still haven't touched it yet, but I just want to highlight that that was a good short for anybody who did decide to take it, because it was on the stream, the last stream I did going into Christmas. Um, and yeah, that's it. Put this back on Biddy. There's a couple of other ones that we looked at too. I don't think that I marked those in here to follow those. I didn't. It was just this one. This was the only one that I decided was interesting enough for me to even. And I was like, I don't even know what this thing is, but yeah, we were looking for something to trade that day, because it was almost difficult to find anything. Let's see, gold back testing those highs once again. See if it's gonna falter. I think you can get it from where I'm talking about. I think you can. Just, again, I'm using a 2 hour chart to assess things. You don't have to do it the way I did it over there, because I'm not even going to use that personally. I'm going to put it on that 2 hour time frame. It's just kind of hard for me to really explain sometimes without being present for it. All right. And with that said, don't forget 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, we do have FOMC meeting happen. So it's the minutes meeting that's happening at 2 p.m. And then tomorrow there is unemployment claims. I will be streaming tomorrow. I know I don't usually stream. No, actually, I take that back. I'm sorry. I have to be at the hospital tomorrow, so I won't be able to be here tomorrow. I was going to try to make up from some of the time that I missed during Christmas week. Maybe later once I get back, or a night show or something like that, where we can find some trades. Maybe the market will move a little bit more then. Um, but yeah, I won't be able to be here in the morning. So that's it. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next live stream. I am Down to Crypto TA. This is the Coin Kings channel. I think he did put out a video yesterday, so do check out that video. It is a pre-recorded video. It's not a live video, so please do be sure to check that out. All right. I love you, and I wish you all the best today.